Okay, I'm gonna do an episode. Decided, let's jump in the studio and shoot Live and Learn, the morning gratitude show on Apolitically Incorrect Friday. It's July the 11th. It's 7/11. Happy birthday, Dane Bass. He's one of my good friends. And proof that sometimes you can fight and sometimes you need space. And then sometimes you can make up, even years later. Um, yeah, happy birthday, Dane. It's Apolitically Incorrect Friday here at Live and Learn, the morning gratitude show. I'm doing this from the studio today, well, because I'll be taking a different form of transportation into work on this Friday morning. Yeah, I will be the red line of the MBTA, the Massachusetts Bay Transit Authority, the what you've come to love and see every morning, by me going to using public transportation to, you know, get to work, first train in the morning. It's shut down in a way, shuttle buses, and so one of my workmates has a car, and he lives 2 towns away from me. So we end up taking the same train in together. He'll park at the station because it's a lot. He doesn't have to worry about Boston traffic and paying for parking, wasting gas, having to worry about his ride. No, it's a safe parking garage at one of the Braintree line red line stations, and we don't even sit next to each other on the train. He sees me all day. I talk to him I literally work right next to him. And I have for like a year now, and so it's good that we get along. But it's nice that he's able to pick me up tomorrow. So he's going to pick me up tomorrow down the street at the gas station at 5 in the morning, and we'll make it to work by 5:30. Right before, if you leave right at 5 o'clock, because by 5:30, I-93 going into town, into Boston, is pretty much headlights everywhere. It's not a snarl; it's actually moving. But at 5:30 in the morning, like if you see me do the show, you're always like, I always like, and it's 5:30 in the morning. Look at all those headlights. And with me in the car too, apparently we can use the carpool lane because we officially, we're carpooling. We are, yeah. So that'll be nice. So that's where I'm going to be while I'm usually shooting the show. I don't think it would be fair to, bring in another person like that into the show, and that could be annoying, So fuck it. So I'll do it like this. So it's Apolitically Incorrect Friday here at the Live and Learn Gratitude Show. The Gratitude Show is about people like me who suffer from the chronic mopies, the chronic lonelies, and the chronic angries. I have all my life. This gratitude list has been the most successful coping mechanism in my toolbox to help me out with this kind of stuff. It's had the most amazing impact on me. It's changed my perspective. It's given me purpose, and I found a greater level of peace. I still have the same bank account, same shoe size, and and same fate. Yet my perspective is a lot different. I've been able to reformat my self-talk. Now it asks me questions in a gentle voice. Like if I'm getting angry or frustrated, it actually asks me, Eric, how is this helping? Isn't that wonderful? Or it makes a statement such as, hey, you need to run your anger, or your anger is going to run you. You need to run your project, or your project is going to run you. You need to run your day, your paperwork, your commute. You need to run your life, or your life is going to run you. I think that could work for everyone too. And through that perspective, I started feeling seeing a better purpose in myself. And what is that purpose? The purpose is just it's simple. I'm being a better me. I'm the best me I've ever been in my life. I'm happy. I'm content. I'm stable. You know, I have my highs and lows and my struggles. Sure, we're human. We all do. I mean, I don't have it all completely figured out, but you know what? Reaching middle age and reaching maturity, and living this long, and I these things were just such like, I was just so passion driven and so easy to upset and anger, and it just, but I don't look back at it and cringe, and I don't look back and regret. That's just who I was at the time. And I'm thankful and blessed and grateful that I'm old enough to be wise enough to have learned from that. Live and learn. Live and learn. My mom said that to me all the time growing up. Live and learn, kid. Live and learn. I'd roll my eyes. Oh, you better not be rolling your eyes, kid. And she must have got it from her mom. You know, it's because it's like pithy little wisdoms you get, you know. And live and learn, you know, and there's nothing truer than that. It's not live and repeat. Live and learn. No, I just don't do that again. No. Learn. And you'll see that I'm wearing my most satirical hat. We have a Chiron rolling on the bottom of the screen. Whoa. I'll have to give away the time I'm recording this. It's my daily mantra. I have an alarm for that. 6 o'clock in the morning. Not 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. My daily mantra. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 15. Ma prasparsas tu konteya, sit nosna sukha dukkha da, agima pahino nitya, tam stitiksasva bharata. That means, it's Sanskrit. It's from the 18th chapter, vessel of like Vedic. It's the result of Vedic thought. It's concise. It's epic war poetry, and it's very well written. And it's called the Bhagavad Gita, and it's a Hindu spiritual text. And it means Matra Sparsas tu Kunteya. This world, and Sparsas tu Kunteya is actually, there's a lot in that little bit of it. There's a lot in that term. Matras, existence, the world, Mother Earth. Matra, and you can hear mother in there, can't you? Like meter, you know, matron. You know, the first meter of the first timekeeper ever was the woman's biological clock of her menstruation cycle. This is called Indo-Aryan language families. Yeah, this is just all history, man. Prehistory, kind of, you know, antiquity, you know. Matra sparsas tu kondeya. The world and its sense objects and their reflection back at you through your sense organs, your eyes, nose, ears, skin, you know what I mean? Your rationality. Matra sparsas tu kondeya, si nosna, sukha dukkha da. Si nosna, they're changing seasons. Sukha dukkha da. They're suffering and joy. Matra sparsas tu konteya, si nosna, sukha dukkha da. Agama paino. Neatness. Agama paino. They're temporary. They're fleeting. They're temporary. Matra sparsas tu konteya. Seat nosna. Suka dukata. They're changing seasons. Like their summer, winter. It's suffering and joy. Matras parsas tukuntea seat nosna. Suka tuka da. Agama paino nitnias. They're fleeting, they're transitory, they're temporary. Therefore, tam stivixasva parata. Therefore, endure these, O hero, O son of Kunteya, O son of Bharata, scion of Bharata. Bharata being the family name of the good guys, the Pandus. Kunteya means son of Kunti. Matras parsas to Kunteya. Kunteya means the son of Kunti. So there was also honor in the matriarchal line, not just, being the son of Bharat. In the Mahabharata. Ain't that cool? I love mythology anyway. I love epic poetry. Epic poetry. This is like the Iliad. I didn't like the Aeneid too much. It was like overproduced. You know what I mean? It was my least favorite, but I do love the Iliad, and I do love the Odyssey, and I do love Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is epic poetry. Epic. This is literal epic. But that is my mantra. That's my daily mantra. This world and it sends contacts that bounce back at you. They're changing seasons. It's hot and cold. It's suffering and joy. Therefore, they're transitory. They're temporary. They're fleeting. Therefore, endure them, O hero. Endure them. That's been my daily mantra since 2011. Yeah. Daily. Every day. These are the words of Krishna. Lord Krishna is an avatar of Atman. And these are Krishna's words. And sometimes I have this real empathetic feeling that I become Krishna. My hand is on Arjuna's shoulder. It's Krishna speaking to his best friend Arjuna, the hero, the archer of the Pandus, on this eve of the civil war. And he's having a panic attack. And nothing so moves me because I have panic attacks too. Crippling panic attacks, I do. And to feel this oneness with the Lord. Who he is, the Lord. Krishna is the Lord. It's just as valid as any other religious tradition. All roads lead to the same place. I am so grateful and blessed that I have this spiritual bent. I really do, because my solutions needed a spiritual component, and I think yours do too. And that's maybe why I'm apolitically incorrect now. I did not have this spiritual bent, this spiritual slant. Way back when I was a politics junkie, I would read the newspaper every day. I would read the Boston Globe, occasionally the Boston Herald, which was the tabloid style. The Boston Globe had the fold out and was the big paper, and it had dare I say, had the more interesting op-ed page. The op-ed page is the final page of the first section of the first page of the paper. And it's called opinion editorials. It's because the rest of the articles were news articles. not editorial, not opinion. They were journalism. Who, what, where, when, how, why, with no opinion. It was about reporting facts, about events that happened in our locality, whether it was crime, whether it was business, sports, obituaries, just national news, local news. It has a format. The daily paper. I also would watch on Channel 4, our old NBC station before they moved it to 7. On WBZ, Channel 4 Boston. 10:30 a.m. on Sundays were sacred. I would watch Meet the Press. This was back in the Tim Russert days, so this dates it for like pre-Obama, I would love that. Meet the Press, punditry, politics, press, journalism, and I also was an NPR junkie, National Public Radio, 90.9 WBUR, Boston's public radio. We're sponsored by you, our listeners, and a generous grant from Mohegan Carnivorous Cardo Airline and military producers and suppliers of private armies from here to the other side of the world at a reasonable price. It's something like that, I was gonna say something like a pharma company, or I just didn't want to don't want to poke any bears or hornets nests. Trying to make my little show here. So I used to really have an erudite kind of political honed opinion, which is pretty good for a projects kid, from a kid from the Salty Projects. So I was looking at what's this week in American politics, and I'm using the Gemini Google AI. Sometimes I usually mostly always use Grok because I'm a paying customer at Twitter X. But today I'm going to use a different one. Let's this week in American politics, July 7th through the 13th, 2025. Ask anything here in the bottom. Here's a summary of key political events and this week in American politics. Congressional activity. The House is currently in the district work period designed from Monday the 7th to Sunday, July 13th. However, committees continue to hold meetings, with the House Committee on Energy and Commerce scheduled for a markup of 4 committee prints at 2 p.m. today. The House Committee on Rules is scheduled to discuss several bills relating to law enforcement officer safety and wellness at 4 p.m. today. Executive branch. The president is expected to travel to Texas to meet with first responders and families affected by the recent flooding, according to the Washington Post. Trump issued several executive orders on July 7th, including extending the modification of reciprocal tariff rates and ending market-distorting subsidies for certain energy sources. The administration is facing legal challenges with some of its policies. A federal judge temporarily blocking an order restricting birthright citizenship. However, the Supreme Court recently narrowed injunctions blocking Trump's birthright citizenship order, curtailing the power of individual judges to issue nationwide injunctions. See, there's your hierarchy. That's turtles all the way up. So the turtles under the stack, Supreme Court decisions. The Supreme Court granted Trump's request to narrow injunctions blocking his birthright citizenship order, a decision that limits power of individual judges to issue nationwide injunctions. And that's it. So that's basically saying that an individual judge sitting on, lower circuit courts are not allowed to, overstep their bounds. Justice Katani Brown and Jackson, of course, issued a dissenting opinion in this ruling, emphasizing her perspective on the court's decisions. I bet you it was, and I hope she used a really good color of crayon. And, it had some smiley faces and a couple of rainbows and things, The Supreme Court also declined to allow Florida to enforce a new immigration law. And similarly, any other state's immigration laws are also blocked or not yet in effect. In a different ruling, Supreme Court allowed Trump to resume mass federal layoffs, a decision Justice Jackson dissented from. Wow. I wonder why. Oh, well. Another political news, Russia sanctions legislation is gaining traction in Congress, with senators aiming to balance this with Trump's views on Russia. Mike Pence, he was Trump 45's vice president, and now just he seems like he's like waiting in the shadows of like Gryffindor and somewhere in some kind of hidden tower in Hogwarts. I don't know, like, on my Harry Potter, but it's like he's got this thing going on, I think. Mike Pence has praised the decision to resume aid to Ukraine, suggesting a shift in thinking about the conflict. Sure. I don't know what I can say on YouTube anymore, because a lot of people have been like warning me. I'm just reading Google Gemini. Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr.'s stance on fluoride is generating debate and facing opposition from dental and oral health advocates. Why? You can get fluoride, in a fluoride rinse. And wouldn't fluoride outside of the drinking water promote more tooth decay? And then you would make more business and more need for dental insurance? Yeah, see that's interesting. See, I like RFK. See, RFK was, I would have voted for him for president. He's sure. I mean, given the choice between Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, or RFK Jr. in a three pony race, totally. If there was any fairness besides if there was a legit third party, because remember, a two-party system is only one party away from being a one-party system. That's mine. I made that up, and I stand by that. It's really, but think about it. A two-party system is only one party away from being a one-party system. And with the whole uni-party idea anyway, aren't we already kind of there, in a way? Concerns are being raised about Trump's push to undermine clean energy projects, drawing attention to California's environmental regulations. Which is interesting, because can, Trump undermine California emissions? I've been hearing that term since the 80s. You stay home sick from school, you're watching Price is Right, it's the final showdown, and here's a 1981 Pontiac LeBaron LeSabre, and that's a Buick LeSabre with knobby wheels and California emissions, whatever that was. I was back in the day of catalytic converters, so maybe it was It only ran on unleaded gas or something. The fight over the new FBI headquarters is impacting the upcoming government funding bill. Oof. Who cares? Recent poll indicates a mixed opinion on Trump's performance in his second term, with his net approval rating remaining negative, according to the YouGov, The Economist tracking. Let's see. Please note that this is a summary of major political developments and does not encompass all events and news from the week. For a comprehensive overview, it is recommended to consult various news sources. Ask anything. Okay. Can I say that out loud on YouTube? Oh, DOG stuff. 4 days ago, this firebomb swept through the Capitol. And after all the horse and pony show, after it's on my desk, after it's you had these influencers show up, like the right-wing influencers show up at the White House, and they're all showing like this dossier, and it was the Epstein files. The Juan Epstein files. Remember Juan Epstein? He was from Welcome Back, Kotter. So every page is one of his excuse notes, and that's signed by Epstein's mother. Trump's Justice Department and FBI have concluded they have no evidence that convicted sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful figures, kept a client list, or was murdered, according to a memo detailing the findings obtained by Axios. The administration is releasing a video, both in raw and enhanced versions, and it says indicates no one entered the area of the Manhattan prison where Epstein was held the night he left his mortal coil in 2019. The video supports a medical examiner's finding that Epstein left his mortal coil by self-deletion. Why does it matter? The findings represent the first time Trump's administration has officially contradicted conspiracy theories about the activities and about his leaving his mortal coil. I'm doing this like quarter pounder way. Theories that have been pushed to the FBI's top 2 officials before Trump appointed them to the bureau. As social media influencers and activists, Kash Patel, now the FBI's director, and Dan Bongino, now deputy director, were among those in the MAGA world who questioned the official version of how Epstein died. Both Patel and Bongino have since said that Epstein, left his mortal coil by self-deletion. But it has become an article of faith online, especially on the right, that Epstein's crimes implicate government officials. Hence the list, hence the pictures, hence, Prince Albert's teenage friend and got hit by a car and then later self-deleted while convalescing. And exactly, Virginia Giuffre. And that's okay. And that Epstein's crimes implicated government officials, celebrities, and business leaders, and that somebody helped him without his consent leave his mortal coil. to conceal, Epstein's mouth. The memo says no one else involved in the Epstein case will be charged. Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence for child trafficking and related offenses, apparently to nobody. There were no receivers. Nobody. There was no money changed hands, or there was no, traffic. There was no one that these humans, these small young humans, were trafficked to. Right? Is that what I'm trying to? That's my first thought. And the mega media universe and some of its voices on Capitol Hill have expressed frustrations with the Trump administration's handling of the Epstein case since February. Yep, this is the Attorney General Pam Bondi. It's on my desk. It's been on my desk, and now there is no Epstein list. It's like, and it's like all this thing is like everybody is covering up, there's a big cover up going on right now. Yeah, probably, geez. Anything else here? Democrats, meanwhile, have demanded to know more about the Epstein-Trump relationship. How dare you? I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah. That's the big news. MAGA people are all fucking wound out about this. I haven't seen this many fucking white people pissed off since MASH got canceled. Man, and it's like, well, but look who you voted for. I mean, seriously, voting for the other one. Jeez, wow. And don't blame me. I voted for Jill Stein 3 times. I did. Dr. Jill Stein. Well, because it's I vote for third parties. Because we need a viable third party. Seriously, I'm in Massachusetts. There's no way in hell that the last time a Republican won in Massachusetts was by big in 1980, and Ronald Reagan won, and by a very slim margin in 1984 for Ronald Reagan too. Before that, it was Dwight Eisenhower in 1956. Besides that, every single Massachusetts electoral vote has been cast for the Democratic candidate, for the Democratic presidential candidate. It's true. Look it up. I'm in Massachusetts. We have 11 electoral votes to give, and so I feel I would like to be able to vote for a third party, using this window of voting I have. I've been voting for third parties since Ross Perot in 1992, when my choice was Bill Clinton or George Bush. And it was my first presidential election that I could vote in. I was a registered Republican. Why? Because all my other friends were, and I honestly thought I'd end up in a higher tax bracket and be a lot more successful. Maybe a lawyer, maybe an astronaut. Who knows? That didn't happen. By the time I'm 30, I registered independent. It was because the whole family values thing in the 90s and the religious right, and it's odd because there has been some value switching. Now, like the Republicans are now the party of the blue collar and the populists, and the and Democrats are now the party of, well, of war, of war, of being war hawks. But war hawks are more of uniparty because war is very, very, very profitable, especially on that governmental level. Boy, this is an extra long episode of Apolitically Incorrect because I don't care, seriously. I mean, I wish for peace in the world. I'm an old man. I'm 52 years old. I mean, I don't get into Twitter fights anymore, really. I mean, just I would advise peace and understanding, especially in these drama things. I mean, there's so many drama circles that I'm aware of, and it touches my periphery, being parts of live chats or memberships and channels, being parts of cultures such as the independent crowdfunding spheres. And I would advise peace. I would advise, meeting face to face, shaking hands, breaking bread. Maybe have a normal. If you want to be normal, act normal. But there is a lot of profit to be made in outrage, whether it's super chats, advertisements, or selling independent comics by interested people who show up and be like, "Oh, I'll take a helmet and a pike and one of those space comic books and one with the girl with the big tits." Ah, boy. Yeah, but that's about it. What I saw in Gemini tonight. Maybe ask Grok real quick. What happened to the Epstein list? I'm gonna ask Grok. The so-called Jeffrey Epstein Client List has been a topic of speculation, but recent developments clarify that no such list exists, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, and the FBI. And after an exhaustive review of the Epstein case files, found no evidence of an incriminating client list or that proof that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. The review and also, as we said, confirmed that he left the mortal coil by self-deletion, debunking conspiracy theories about his leaving his mortal coil, that it was done without his consent, and then some kind of weird lapse between the video feed too. That was then. And the memo stated that no further disclosures would be made, as the material was either too graphic, involving CP, or under a court seal to protect victims. In January 2024, 4,500 pages of court documents from a 2015 defamation lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre. And she's the girl that was in the picture with Prince Andrew, the teenage girl. And she was hit by a car, and she left her mortal coil by a self-deletion from her hospital bed. And this was within the past year. So now she's a 40-year-old woman. And she had left a social media post a couple of years before that saying she is not suicide alley. I'll say that in Pig Latin. She is not going to self-delete, and that her family knows this, her shrink knows that, and that if anything happens to her, you really need to look into it. And she's like, I am not, that is that's who I am. I'm not going to self-delete. This is the person that said it herself. So the defamation lawsuit by Virginia Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell were unsealed, and these included names of over 150 individuals connected to Epstein, such as associates, victims, employees, and public figures like Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump. However, these documents were not a client list and mostly contained already public information, with many individuals not accused of wrongdoing. Bondi, in February of 2025, suggested a client list was under review. She later released the files as Epstein Files Phase 1, but these were largely previously public documents, including flight logs and an evidence list, disappointing those expecting new revelations. In summary, the Epstein list as a definitive roster of clients implicated in his crimes does not exist, per the Department of Justice's findings. The documents released in 24 and 25 produced no major new allegations. Speculation persists on X, but no credible evidence supports claims of a hidden list or widespread cover-up. That is Grok 3, and that's Grok's synthesis, hypotenuse. Grok's on the case. What do you think? Believe the AI? I believe in cui bono. It was so important, I wrote it down on my arm. Cui bono. Who benefits? Well, who benefits? I don't know. I'm just here to make America grateful again. That's the only MAGA I care about. You can get your own hat too. Use a hat creator. You can find it on Amazon, and any font you want. I thought green would be a bit more, me. I think putting it on a red hat would have been too on the nose and might get you confused as an authentic hat too. There's more of a chance someone getting the joke if they saw that in green, in my humble opinion. Well, it's been an extra jumbo king size apolitically incorrect Friday. Here we actually went over what's been going on in American politics all this week. Oh wow, the MAGAs are all riled up, and they're all having allegations of like, oh, you're I can't, there's a lot of words I can't say on YouTube about SA against small people, young people, and it's like there's no, it's like, and that's just the MAGA people. And what are the Democrats doing? Apparently they're cheering the small people in Texas who didn't make it out of the flood because of the whole association with MAGA people, and Texas being a red state. That's the country we live in. That's social media in 2025. And that's why I'm apolitically incorrect. Jeez, what a world we live in, huh? That's why it's better to worry about your own problems, think globally, act locally, and maybe help people if you can. I'm very grateful that I'm able to help people in my own way. This little station, this little channel has the ability to reach people and tell them my message of gratitude, of using a gratitude list, and how it's really changed my life. It's really helped me. And now I don't have to continually get angry, end up in the churn of someone else's outrage cycle. Now I don't even get I don't even get torqued up about my own churn of my very own outrage cycle. Now I have the ability to, turn my mind down and slow it down through gratitude. It's given me perspective. And maybe, just all I can do is look at the news, be mused, be like, wow, the news hasn't pissed me off in a very, very long time. Does that mean I'm apathetic? No. Does that mean I might suffer from compassion fatigue? Most definitely. Yet I feel a bit more holistically blissful that it's like suka duka, agama paino, suka duka da. It's changing seasons. It's hot and cold. It's pleasure and pain. It's winter and summer. It's transitory. It's fleeting. It's temporary. Therefore, endure this, O hero. Endure this. My mantra. Thank you so much. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern, over at Thinking Critical for Wes's Comics Aficionados, which we're going to review this week's comic books and talk about all things comic booky. Also, my own show is going to be on 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, the Super Sully Sunday stream, live. That's right. And I will talk to you later. Have a great day. And we got the extra jumbo king sized. Live and Learn, the Morning Gratitude Show, here on this Apolitically Incorrect Friday. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again in those pages, those newspaper pages. And we'll see you in the op-ed.